Ah, the open road. Nothing quite like the freedom of an RV, the wind in your hair, the bugs in your teeth, and the looming specter of America's bloodiest conflict. The Civil War, which raged from 1861 to 1865, claimed over 600,000 lives. Let's make a bucket list. That's right, folks. Are you ready to combine a road trip with a journey back in time? Imagine visiting Gettysburg, where President Lincoln delivered his famous address. Join us as we explore the top 10 Civil War sites perfect for your next RV adventure. From Antietam, the bloodiest single-day battle, to Appomattox Courthouse, where the war effectively ended. Plan your route, pack your bags, and get ready for an unforgettable journey. Don't miss out on visiting museums and monuments that tell the stories of bravery and sacrifice. The open road awaits, and history is just a drive away. First stop, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. This town, smaller than a gnat's left testicle, was the site of a three-day battle so pivotal, it makes the fight for the TV remote on Thanksgiving look tame. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought from July 1st to July 3rd, 1863, marked a turning point in the Civil War. Over 50,000 casualties littered the landscape, making you wonder if anyone back then knew how to aim a musket. The sheer scale of the battle is mind-boggling, with soldiers fighting tooth and nail for every inch of ground. Did you know that the battle involved the largest number of casualties in the entire war? This was also where Lincoln delivered his famous Gettysburg Address, a speech so powerful it could make a telemarketer weep. His words still resonate today, echoing through the annals of history. Lincoln's address, delivered on November 19, 1863, redefined the purpose of the war and emphasized the principles of human equality. Now, amidst the carnage, there was also confusion. The fog of war often led to chaotic and tragic misunderstandings. For instance, the infamous Pickett's Charge on the third day was a disastrous Confederate assault that ended in heavy losses. Imagine being a Confederate soldier, charging into battle and suddenly realizing you're aiming at your own cousin. The Civil War was truly a brother-against-brother conflict. In fact, many families were torn apart, with members fighting on opposite sides. Awkward family reunion, wouldn't you say? But hey, at least it makes for a good story, right? These personal stories add a human touch to the grand narrative of history. For example, the story of the Culp brothers, Wesley and William, who fought on opposite sides and both died in the battle, is a poignant reminder of the war's personal toll. Next up, we head to Antietam National Battlefield in Maryland, a place so eerily beautiful, it's like Mother Nature decided to stage a photo shoot on top of a mass grave. This was the single bloodiest day in American military history, with over 23,000 casualties. The Battle of Antietam, also known as the Battle of Sharpsburg, was a pivotal moment in the Civil War. It marked the first major attempt by Confederate General Robert E. Lee to invade the North, facing off against Union General George McClellan. You'd think they were giving away free iPhones the way everyone was so eager to die. Now, you might think a place with this much bloodshed would be crawling with ghosts, and you'd be right. One of the most iconic landmarks here is the Dunker Church, which served as a focal point during the battle. Apparently there are more spectral sightings here than at a Harry Potter convention. The Burnside Bridge is another significant site where Union forces faced fierce resistance. Clara Barton, who later founded the American Red Cross, provided crucial medical care to soldiers here. As the sun sets over Antietam, the battlefield transforms into a serene landscape, a stark contrast to its violent past. Historical markers and plaques provide detailed accounts of the battle, making it a must-visit for history buffs. Families and tourists alike can be seen exploring the grounds, soaking in the rich history and the haunting beauty of the site. And now, we arrive at the place where it all kicked off, the spark that ignited the powder keg of the Civil War Fort Sumter. This seemingly unassuming brick behemoth sitting in Charleston Harbor was, in 1861, the most important piece of real estate in America. It was here that Confederate forces, in a move that surprised absolutely no one, decided to tell the Union, "You can't park your troops here, mate." After a 34-hour bombardment, the Union garrison surrendered and boom, the Civil War officially began. It's kind of amazing that the fort is still standing, really. You'd think after being on the receiving end of that much firepower, it'd be a pile of rubble. But no, Fort Sumter is a stubborn one. Much like the war it started, Fort Sumter offers guided tours that delve into its rich history. The museum exhibits provide a deeper understanding of the events that unfolded here. Don't forget to stop by the Visitor Center for more information and souvenirs. Did you know that Fort Sumter was originally built after the War of 1812 to protect the southern coastline? Major Robert Anderson, the Union commander, was a Kentucky native with Southern sympathies, making his defense of the fort even more poignant. The first shot of the Civil War was actually fired by Edmund Ruffin, a fervent secessionist, who later became a symbol of Southern defiance. After the bombardment, the Confederate forces raised their flag over Fort Sumter, a powerful symbol of their resolve. The fort is home to numerous artifacts from the battle, including the original flag that flew over it during the bombardment. Visiting Fort Sumter is like stepping back in time, offering a tangible connection to the pivotal moments that shaped our nation's history. Next up, Vicksburg, Mississippi. Now, Vicksburg is a fascinating place for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the siege of Vicksburg, a grueling 47-day affair, was a turning point in the war. Ulysses S. Grant, a man who knew a thing or two about winning, essentially starved the Confederates out, securing Union control of the Mississippi River. Secondly, Vicksburg is built on some seriously impressive bluffs. We're talking stunning views, people. It's the kind of place where you can park your RV, crack open a cold one, and watch the sunset over the Mississippi, contemplating the sheer audacity of trying to haul cannons up those hills. Don't forget to visit the Vicksburg National Cemetery, a solemn reminder of the sacrifices made, and the Vicksburg Old Courthouse Museum, filled with fascinating artifacts from the era. So, whether you're a history buff or an RV enthusiast, Vicksburg has something for everyone. Did you know that the siege of Vicksburg was part of the Union's Anaconda Plan? This strategy aimed to cut off the Confederacy's supplies and split it in two. The soldiers dug extensive trenches, creating a network that stretched over 15 miles. These trenches were crucial in the Union strategy to encircle the city. The Illinois Memorial at the park is a must-see. It was modeled after the Roman Pantheon and honors the 36,000 Illinois soldiers who fought in the siege. Letters from soldiers during the siege reveal the harsh conditions they endured, from relentless bombardment to dwindling food supplies. Don't miss the USS Cairo Museum, which houses the remains of a Union ironclad gunboat that was sunk during the siege and later recovered. The artillery displays at the park give you a sense of the firepower used during the siege, with cannons that could fire shells over a mile. Living history demonstrations at the park bring the past to life, showing you what daily life was like for soldiers and civilians during the siege. Alright folks, buckle up because we're heading to Chickamauga and Chattanooga, the site of some of the most brutal fighting in the entire war. These battles were pivotal in the Union's campaign to control the South. These two battles, fought just a few weeks apart in September and November of 1863, were crucial in securing Union control of Tennessee, which, strategically speaking, was a pretty big deal. Chattanooga was known as the gateway to the Deep South. Thousands of men clashed in hand-to-hand combat, the air thick with smoke and the stench of gunpowder. The intensity of these battles was unimaginable. General George Thomas earned the nickname the Rock of Chickamauga for his steadfast defense. It's a sobering thought, really, especially when you consider that the soldiers' rations at the time were basically hardtack and whatever they could forage. Hardtack, a type of hard biscuit, was often infested with weevils. I mean, can you imagine trying to fight a battle on a diet of stale biscuits and questionable berries? The struggle for sustenance was as real as the fight itself. Soldiers often had to scavenge for food, risking enemy fire. Frankly, I'd be surrendering before lunch. The sheer endurance of these soldiers is awe-inspiring. The Confederate Army eventually retreated, marking a significant turning point in the war. Well folks, if you're looking for a place to learn about the Civil War, Shiloh National Military Park is a must-see. This is where, in 1862, Confederate forces launched a surprise attack on the Union Army, marking one of the bloodiest battles in American history. It was a chaotic scene, with soldiers scrambling to find their regiments and commanders trying to make sense of the unfolding mayhem. Did you know that General Ulysses S. Grant was caught off guard while having breakfast? Picture it. Thousands of men running around firing muskets and yelling orders, all while trying to figure out who was on their side. The confusion was so intense that some soldiers ended up fighting their own comrades. It's like a drunken game of laser tag, but with significantly higher stakes. The battle saw the first significant use of the Hornet's Nest defensive position, where Union troops held off Confederate attacks for hours. The battle lasted 2 days and resulted in heavy casualties on both sides, with over 23,000 soldiers killed, wounded, or missing. This was more than the combined casualties of all previous American wars. But hey, at least it wasn't boring, right? The Visitor Center offers detailed exhibits and artifacts that bring the history to life. You can even see the original Bloody Pond, where soldiers from both sides went to drink and tend to their wounds. Don't miss the memorials scattered throughout the park, each telling a unique story of bravery and sacrifice. One notable monument is the Iowa State Memorial, dedicated to the 12 Iowa regiments that fought here. And of course, the park's scenic views provide a peaceful backdrop to contemplate the past. The serene landscape today stands in stark contrast to the bloody conflict that once raged here. Ah, Appomattox Courthouse, the place where it all came to an end. After 4 long years of bloody conflict, the Confederacy finally threw in the towel. It was here, in a quiet little village in Virginia, that General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, effectively ending the Civil War. Now you might think a surrender would be a somber affair, but apparently it was a relatively civil event. Lee and Grant exchanged pleasantries, discussed their military careers, and even shared a laugh or two. It's almost like they'd just finished a friendly game of checkers, not a devastating war that tore a nation in two. But hey, at least they ended things on a polite note, right? Today, Appomattox Courthouse is a National Historical Park, preserving the memory of that pivotal moment. Visitors can walk the grounds, explore the buildings, and even see the room where the surrender took place. The park also houses numerous artifacts from the Civil War, offering a tangible connection to the past. It's a serene and reflective place, perfect for understanding the gravity of the events that transpired here. Did you know that the terms of surrender were written in the parlor of the McLean house? The same family had moved there to escape the war, only to find it ending in their living room. The park also displays personal items from soldiers, like letters and uniforms, giving a glimpse into their daily lives. And as the sun sets over Appomattox, you can almost feel the weight of history in the air. Hold on to your hats, folks, because Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park is not for the faint of heart. This area was the site of some of the most brutal fighting of the Civil War. We're talking 4 major battles over a period of just 18 months: Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, Wilderness, and Spotsylvania Courthouse. The casualties were staggering, with over 100,000 soldiers killed, wounded, or missing, and the landscape was forever scarred by the violence. But amidst the bloodshed and tragedy, there are also stories of incredible bravery, resilience, and sacrifice. For instance, the Battle of Fredericksburg saw the famous charge of the Irish Brigade, and hey, if you're into ghost stories, this place has got them in spades. Local folklore is packed with tales of spectral soldiers, phantom gunfire, and otherworldly happenings. Some say you can still hear the cries of soldiers at night. So, if you're feeling brave, pack your RV and head to Fredericksburg in Spotsylvania. And don't forget to check out the museum exhibits, showcasing artifacts from the era, including personal items from soldiers and original battle flags. The park also offers some serene spots for reflection and a deeper connection with history. It's a great educational trip for families, providing a tangible link to the past. Did you know that the Battle of Chancellorsville is often considered General Robert E. Lee's greatest victory? As the sun sets over the battlefield, you'll feel the weight of history in the air. Alright, history hounds, buckle up because we're heading to Manassas National Battlefield Park, a place that saw not 1 but 2 major Civil War battles, both known as the Battle of Bull Run. You'd think they'd have come up with a more creative name for the second one, wouldn't you? The Battle of Bull Run 2? Electric Boogaloo? No, just me? Anyway, these battles were chaotic messes full of confusion and tactical blunders that would make a game of Civil War-themed charades look organized. The first battle, fought on July 21, 1861, was particularly notable for the number of civilians who came out to watch, as if it were some kind of gruesome picnic. I guess they didn't have Netflix back then. Imagine setting up your blanket and picnic basket only to witness a brutal battle unfold. Talk about ruining your appetite. So, pack your bags and get ready for a journey back in time. Did you know that the second battle, fought from August 28th to August 30th, 1862, was even larger and bloodier than the first? It was during this battle that General Stonewall Jackson earned his legendary reputation. Letters from soldiers describe the intense heat and exhaustion they faced. Artifacts recovered from the battlefield tell stories of bravery and sacrifice. Today, memorials stand to honor those who fought and fell here. Be sure to visit the Henry Hill Visitor Center for more in-depth exhibits and information. Manassas National Battlefield Park is not just a place of history, but also of reflection and remembrance. Now, for a heavy dose of reality, we're visiting Andersonville National Historic Site, the site of a notorious Confederate prisoner of war camp. Conditions at Andersonville were horrific, to say the least. Overcrowding, disease, and malnutrition were rampant, and thousands of Union soldiers perished within its walls. The camp, officially known as Camp Sumter, was designed to hold 10,000 prisoners, but at its peak, it held over 32,000. It's a somber reminder of the brutal reality of war and the human cost of conflict. One of the most harrowing stories is that of the Providence Spring, a natural spring that appeared in the camp during a thunderstorm, providing much-needed fresh water to the prisoners. Imagine being stuck in a place so bad, your only entertainment is trying to guess which of your fellow prisoners will be the next to succumb to dysentery. It's enough to make you want to stage a prison break, even if your only escape route is through a latrine. The site also features a National Prisoner of War Museum, which provides a deeper understanding of the hardships faced by prisoners. The museum's exhibits are both educational and heart-wrenching, making it a must-visit for history enthusiasts. The museum also highlights the story of Henry Wirtz, the camp's commandant, who was later tried and executed for war crimes. This adds another layer of historical significance to your visit, making Andersonville a place where history truly comes alive. Thanks for riding along on this historical journey. We hope you enjoyed visiting these incredible Civil War sites as much as we did. Each location holds a unique story and a piece of our nation's history. For instance, did you know that Gettysburg was the war's turning point with over 50,000 casualties? Or that Antietam remains the bloodiest single-day battle in American history? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more adventurous trips into history. We have many more exciting destinations to share with you. Safe travels and keep exploring. Until next time, happy trails and enjoy the journey.